Hi guys, I'm Leah and welcome back to my channel. Today we're going to be reacting to pro-lifers. Now for some essential information, the dictionary defines pro-life as opposing abortion or euthanasia. Someone who is pro-life thinks that women do not have a right to choose whether or not to continue their pregnancy and give birth to a child, and that abortion is wrong in most or in all circumstances. So it doesn't matter how the child was conceived, whether the child will live after birth, whether the woman will live after birth, the quality of life that the woman or the child will have. Abortion can be seen as wrong by pro-lifers for any of these reasons. I wanted to make this video after getting sucked into my university confessional pages and seeing a lot of hate being directed towards the pro-life society. Now, I'm not shitting on the uni here. They do have to give both sides of the argument. They cannot allow a pro-choice society without a pro-life society. In general, universities can't really be seen to accommodate one and not the other, as it might be seen to influence your political standing. I mean, I wouldn't think it would be fair to have a pro-Labour society but not a pro-Tory society. Tory society. Can't believe I just said that. But at the end of the day, the university has to come across as impartial. Personally, I am pro-choice. I don't actually have a lot of problem with some of the reasons why people are pro-life. I get it. Abortion isn't fun. As someone with a uterus, I've never woken up and thought, oh boy, I hope I can have an abortion one day. Personally, the biggest issue that I have with pro-life is that it denies the woman the choice to decide what is happening within their own body. If you can have a baby, you should be able to choose whether or not you do have a baby. And this is usually the point where you hear, use contraception! Contraception doesn't always work. No, don't have sex! Well, consenting to sexual intercourse is not necessarily consenting to being impregnated. People have literally gone to prison for removing a condom during intercourse or stealthing because the person with the vagina did not consent to being impregnated. Therefore, in my eyes, since we have the right to use contraception, we should also have the right to use termination if contraception doesn't work. Now, some of the most common reasons why people say that they are pro-life is because they believe that everyone has the right to life, including the fetus / the baby, and that murder is fundamentally wrong. This video isn't about trying to disprove that point. They are entitled to having that opinion, and I'm not going to attack that. Whilst I was looking into this, I did stumble across pro-life TikTok. And let me tell you, that's 30 seconds of my life I'm never going to get back. Now, this page seems to be advertising life and pregnancy and the act of being a mother, and that's fab, great. Show how amazing being a mother is. Fantastic. However, that is a completely biased opinion. This and their YouTube channel that does compilations of pro-life TikToks. Well done. Promotes motherhood and is basically propaganda of why you should keep your baby.
If the world is ending, you come over, right? Right? Yeah. If the world was ending, you come over, right? Yeah.
Okay, no, hold up. There is this idea that if women were encouraged by society to have children, and that society promised to support them and their children, that women would indeed prosper. Arguing that abortion does not free women, some argue that abortion does not liberate women but allows society to cater to women's needs. They say that what women need for equality is not free access to abortion, but to be given what they need to survive financially and socially as mothers. For example, inexpensive and readily available childcare, a workplace or school that acknowledges the needs of mothers, state support that helps to reintegrate a woman into the workforce. They say that if women couldn't have abortion so easily, governments would have to invest more money in supporting mothers. However, this claim that pro-lifers will support mothers doesn't actually apply to society in general. Society does not always support mothers, jobs don't always support mothers. Until improvements are made, then this argument cannot stand. Also, highlight the part that said allows society not to cater to women's needs. Hang on. I'm thinking. I think I've got it. What if a woman's need is not to be a mother? So, arguably, this suggests that a woman's fundamental need is to be a mother, which basically echoes the idea that being a mother is the fundamental job or purpose of being a woman. So actually, it isn't about supporting a woman's need as a mother, but supporting her purpose of being a mother. Now, I definitely agree that career goals can be a factor in why women choose to have abortions, and I do believe that the idea of having a baby shouldn't mean the death of a career. However, I don't think the way to get rid of this is to ban abortion. Maybe change the perception of women being childbearers as their only purpose. Maybe support women in careers whether they have children or not. I think that promoting the idea that society deems a career impossible if you have children is obviously going to stop women trying to do both. Maybe this is the narrative that we need to tackle. The TikTok account also says that you cannot be personally pro-life, which is something I've seen on many platforms regarding the pro-life versus pro-choice argument.
If we acknowledge that abortion takes the life of a human being, then we should be opposed to all abortions. Every innocent human being has a right to not be killed, and that's why we can't just be personally pro-life. A person would never say that they only personally oppose child abuse. They never say, well, I would never abuse a child myself, but I can't take away a parent's right to abuse their own kid.
So they're just using a comparison argument. What is this? Whataboutism 2.0 pro-life edition? This is probably one of my personally biggest issues with the pro-life movement. It's the idea that you believe one thing, so that is the way it must be. Your belief then decides what a person can and can't do. This is an infringement on rights, in my opinion. This actively prevents women making the choice not to be a mother. If a woman does not consent to being a mother, she should not have to be. She should not have to endure the changes that pregnancy and birth will make upon her body if she does not consent to it. By being pro-choice, you are not enforcing that women should have abortions. You are not making women have abortions. That's the point in choice. It's their choice, not yours. This is something that I've seen a lot about. Being pro-choice is not the same as being pro-abortion. You can actually be anti-abortion whilst being pro-choice. For example, I don't agree with the use of hormonal contraceptives. Do I believe they should be available? Yes. Do I believe they should be encouraged? Not necessarily. This is based on my personal experiences, and girls generally are expected to be on the pill, the implant, the coil, and that expectation usually comes from men who just don't want to use a condom. And in my experience, the side effects of hormonal contraceptives don't actually seem worth it. Depressive episodes, anxiety, loss of sex drive, low self-esteem, low mood, men's pleasure. However, being in control of your body and your conception can be liberating, and of course I realise that it doesn't have negative effects on everyone. I just don't think that people should be encouraged, or rather expected, to take hormonal contraception, especially when you have barrier methods out there. And there's an example. I may be against the use, but that doesn't mean I don't think the use should exist. I just think the narrative around the use should be different. Now, I also did some more digging. I went on Reddit, I went on Twitter, I went on Facebook, and I have to say, I'm quite surprised that this stuff isn't more radical. And then I found this video.
Of America! Defend innocent life!
Can I just say I've never seen this shit happen in Britain? I mean, I'm sure it has, definitely sure things like this have probably happened, but I've never seen it at my university. I've never heard from any of my friends about it happening. Americans, am I right?
We don't want to be.
You have no right to be recorded.
You have no right to be recorded.
Being here. I appreciate it. Thank you. Thanks for being here. Appreciate it.
Why have they blurred out the cops' faces and not the college students?
Every woman has a right to life, no matter how small, from conception all the way until death.
I'm talking about the human.
Okay, so yeah, if a woman is going to die by carrying her baby, is it okay to abort it because that woman has a right to life? So should she carry on and give birth to the baby and die because the baby has a right to life? The argument just doesn't hold. It's contradictory.
My body as a woman to do what I do with it.
It takes a man and a woman to have a child.
No. I've had this conversation with a lot of my male friends. A lot of the time you hear, well, what about me?
It's my baby too, I'm the dad, I should have a say.
Now, I do think the man should be part of the conversation in some circumstances. If your girlfriend or someone you've been sleeping with becomes pregnant, of course, you have the right to have feelings about the baby and around abortion. You also have the right to an opinion as well, but at the end of the day, it isn't your body that's going to go through the abortion or the pregnancy. It's hers. Therefore, you have no right to decide whether she does or does not have an abortion. You do have the right, in my opinion, to voice what you would like to happen, but just because you would want something to happen, it doesn't mean that it should. An argument a friend of mine once made was, if you had no kids, say you were childless before the abortion, you would be childless after the abortion. On paper, nothing about your life changes. In a few years' time, if you make the decision to have a child, you can keep it. You cannot make the decision to get rid of one that you've already had. Well, you can, but that's another conversation. Simply put, your life would carry on as it was. Now, of course, this does kind of downplay the effect that abortion can have on someone. I'm lucky enough to have never had to make a decision around abortion, and I personally don't know anyone that I know of that has had to either. So I can only imagine the impact it would have on your mental health, whether you are the person having the abortion or the partner or the father or another party. I don't want to underplay that, but of course by having a child your life does change drastically in all aspects. By having an abortion, in comparison, it doesn't.
What? There's no water. So we just had a woman pour water on Mr. Joseph Wagner. So accepting.
Because you are a person without a uterus trying to enforce an opinion over a procedure that only people with a uterus can have. That's why they don't respect you.
What does this have to do with abortion?
What is this to do with transgender? Hello, trans people can get pregnant. So of course a law around abortion affects them. Are you fucking thick?
Because y'all over our community as well. You don't understand. It's all just like the way you link everything. You're like, oh hey, anti-abortion, anti-LGBT. It's all like the anti-abortion argument came from like a political link, where they're like, hey, let's have, like, we want people to like.
This person is so passionate about this issue that they can't get their words out. Now, I don't want to misgender them, I don't want to assume what their experience has been, but saying that they're part of the LGBTQI plus community, I'm assuming that they've been part of a community that has been suppressed, which it definitely has, and things do definitely need to be done for this community. And this is what we like to see, a community who knows oppression and can see it when it happens, and here they are standing up for a person's right to have an abortion. It has everything to do with transgender. It has everything to do with anyone that can have a uterus. Also, they say that the feminists lose in this video. I actually support a lot more of what they said than what the video says, but okay. Of course they're going to lose from your perspective, because your argument is the stronger argument. Because you're bigoted and full of yourself. Yeah, I think that's enough of pro-life YouTube. From all this, my point still stands. I don't believe that your belief should be enforced in law. There are many reasons to be pro-life and there are many reasons to be pro-choice. Just respect each other. Stop trying to make laws around things that don't affect you. You do not have to have an abortion if you don't want one. So stop trying to take that away from people who might want one or might need one. Okay guys, thanks for watching this video. If you enjoyed, please like and subscribe, and I'll see you soon.